Alright, so today I'll actually be discussing one of the worst SpongeBob episodes of season 9. If you don't know what episode this is actually called SpongeBob You're Fired. And you know what I seriously mean. So eventually, in this game, SpongeBob gets fired from the Krusty Krab for no reason at all by Mr. Krabs. So that's why he had to go from job to job. But it eventually ends up having him fired. It also caused SpongeBob to be jobless and depressed as well. So eventually, we're going to discuss in today's topic about SpongeBob, you're fired. Okay, so at the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krabs, who's the owner of the same Krusty Krab as usual from season 1, he takes over SpongeBob's fry cook position to save a nickel. It leaves SpongeBob jobless, causing him to cry. And then SpongeBob's best friend and neighbor tells him the benefits of being unemployed, when the two had a glorious employment. But this really ends SpongeBob realizing that he needs a job. In the next few days, SpongeBob apparently gets a job at the hot dog joint, the pizzeria, the taqueria, and the Asian noodle house. But he's fired every time he creates these foods instead of Krabby Patties, So, Krabby Patties is actually a food item from the episode Help Wanted, which is the first episode that was aired on the 1st of May 1999. It was considered to have different variations throughout the show's run. It's actually made out of frozen meatless burger with the patty, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, ketchup, mustards, and onions. But according to that just one bite, it has a Krabby Patty vault which has Krabby Patties. It also has a gummy candy, but unfortunately the gummy candy, I'm not too sure where it is, but I just believe that the gummy candy could be somewhere around America. I'm not really that sure. It's not even in our country if I'm really not mistaken. So, eventually what I was going to say is that it is definitely the worst episodes of all times. He apparently finishes the patty, but Mr. Krabs tells him to get fired. I can't believe Mr. Krabs would do such a thing like that, causing SpongeBob to cry and lose his job. Mr. Krabs should really be ashamed of himself. And not only that, what did SpongeBob even do? He didn't do anything. He's just frying up patties, for the customers. Mr. Krabs should be ashamed of himself. If you want to know why Mr. Krabs is the worst fast food owner of this Krabby Patty joint, just let me know in the comments section down below, okay? I'll take this as an answer, but if you guys really have any opinions on this show and episodes, I can really handle it. It caused SpongeBob to cry uncontrollably and floods the whole Krusty Krab. Squidward apparently escorts the sad sponge out. I really can't believe Squidward is doing this. I seriously don't like that episode, And it's also the episode of the same game. Let me tell you, it is the episode from the same game. Do you want to know why? Every time when you serve Krabby Patties, the time goes out, and then Mr. Krabs quotes this: "Good job, you're fired." For what? SpongeBob is doing a good job with the customers, but even though if you fail 1 or 2 times with the customers, it's still completely fine. Just as long as you serve the customers the right food, then you're able to win the game. Now, you can just choose 3 items such as a taco shop, a pizza shop, or a hot dog stand, depending on what game you play. So after you completed the 2 games, then the ingredients from either these 3 restaurants will come back to the Krusty Krab. And once you win the game, you'll get the promotion. Now, I can't believe why the game was seriously the worst, It was seriously the worst. But SpongeBob apparently was disheveled and unshaven. He was also depressed as well. But then he was motivated by his new friends that SpongeBob should apply for his new job. When he arrived at the Weenie Hunt, he gets employed by Mr. Wiener. Mr. Wiener fires SpongeBob for making weenie patties instead of hot dogs. When SpongeBob goes to Pizza Pie Hole, he gets hired by Pizza Pete to make pizzas, but he makes the pizza patty. But too much to Pizza Pete's disposal, SpongeBob got fired again. I really cannot believe that this happened. They should be ashamed of themselves, I don't really know why they hate it when they put weenie patties, pizza patties, or taco patty, Okay, so SpongeBob apparently cries for an excuse to Cena Taco, but immediately fires him. But then when he goes to Wet Noodle, the Noodle Man chose the patty of SpongeBob. He will take his cooking home for a reason, you know that. I cannot believe what I'm really seeing, but I would just say in my opinion that this is the worst episode ever. So when there was a knock at the door, the hot dog minions had captured SpongeBob in a hot dog bun and taken him away. It turns out that Mr. Wiener was the one who kidnapped him and promoted him because of the idea of Weenie Patties were mentioning of firing him. SpongeBob couldn't leave because he got changed. When Pizza Pete comes along and frees him with pizza sauce, it only gets him to kidnap him soon. But then Squidward, who was disguised as the killer Krabby Patty, thanks SpongeBob for just bringing him back. But Squidward actually begs SpongeBob to come back and become a fry cook again. When the episode closes, SpongeBob later serves the customers patties again, inviting his old boss over to make amends that the nickel he lost. He even installs to pay a toilet, which cost the nickel to use. Wow, I really cannot believe this. I seriously cannot believe that this episode is one of the worst SpongeBob episodes in my opinion. I mean, why? Why would Squidward and Mr. Krabs fire him for reasons? Now, I just say that episode was seriously the worst along with April Fool's rules. Now, I actually did this one in a video to say why it was the worst, and I actually did state my reasons on that, you know. Okay, so I think that's actually the end of the video. If you have any suggestions about this episode, just let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I watched this episode before, and guess what? It was super bad that an innocent fry cook can get fired for a reason. I mean, could it be like Mr. Krabs a Karen? I don't know. Now, I don't want to get too far into details, but I'll just say in my opinion, Mr. Krabs is definitely the worst owner ever. Not only he has some health violations, but the customers keep on complaining about the fry cook. Squidward would have just helped SpongeBob instead of escorting him. I mean, Squidward is so mean to SpongeBob, but in some episodes, he is nice, you know. He's similar to like Mrs. Wicked from Mr. Bean, you know. I just seriously say that next time if Squidward and Mr. Krabs refuses to hire SpongeBob back, this episode's gonna be like a torture, you know. This episode's like seriously the worst. And I mean, how could an innocent fry cook get fired? I wouldn't say that Mr. Krabs is a carrot. Not really in my opinion, you know. I wouldn't say that, you know, like that. I don't know. It's currently unknown why Mr. Krabs still owns the Krusty Krab, but eventually the customers still get really angry at him, in my opinion. Just say it's like that. I'm not really that sure how could I make this sentence a bit true or not, but I would just say that it's one of the worst episodes. Now, if you have any questions, just comment, okay? Just comment down below, okay? If you think it's the worst episode. For me, it's definitely the worst because, you know, Mr. Krabs and Squidward just fired SpongeBob for reasons. It caused SpongeBob to cry uncontrollably. I can't believe he did this. This is like seriously the worst episodes, and if I ever watch this episode again, this is going to be a thumbs down, you know, like a thumbs down. I'm very serious, you know. I'm very serious on how an innocent fry cook can get fired for no reason. I'll just say it's like that, you know. Okay, so eventually that's all for the video that I really have to say. I'm very sorry if this video was going to scare you guys about me just trying to say SpongeBob, you're fired, which is definitely the worst episode. Okay, so I think that's really all for now, and this is me signing off.